So good evening to all of you, and first let me introduce my eminent co-panelists. So first of all, Mr. Kumaravel, I think he does not need an introduction. Most of us have known him as the most prolific salon brand in the country, and they today have 750 salons all over India. He's also very passionate about creating women entrepreneurs, and you must have seen a lot of events, media and articles which he keeps on talking about. Then I would like to introduce Rekha Chaudhari, who is the MD for ONELINE Wellness. And she's a fairly well-renowned name in the global wellness industry. So she is the one from the spa and the wellness sector on this panel. She also owns the rights for a brand in India called Dermalogica, which is an international brand. And she's also nominated as the Global Wellness Ambassador for India, and she's also like a celebrity, so we call her Rekha Tai. Then I would like to introduce Anish Ghoshal. Anish Ghoshal is a lawyer by profession, and he works as a partner with Dua Associates, which is a fairly large, I would say, pan-Indian legal firm. He's got extensive experience in commercial documentation, drafting of transactional other agreements, including venture agreements, know-how, technical collaborations, and so many more. But he deals with the most complicated subjects, so I'm sure we are trying to get something very simple out of him today. Last but not the least, Anurag Mishra. So Anurag has over 17 years of experience. He's experienced in risk management, program structuring, claims management, liability, and he has created multiple insurance products for major companies as well. He now works for a company called UIB, which is a very large multinational insurance broking company. And prior to joining UIB, he was with Wills Tower Watson India Insurance Brokers as co-head for the liability insurance vertical. He's an MBA from the National Insurance Academy, Pune, and a certified insurance broker from the Insurance Institute of India. So let's get into the topic straight away, because I'm sure that this is going to be a very, very, I would say, revealing discussion, and I would urge you all. This is a topic which most people pay very little attention to, but it is very, very critical for our business, right? So let's start. So, am I audible? Okay. So, I would like to start the discussion by first asking all my panelists for their individual views, and we'll take them one by one. Is that with the rising consumer awareness, as the topic says, what are the risks for our business? It could be a salon, it could be a spa, right? So, Anish.
Firstly, Rahul, thanks. Very nice words, kind words. And organizers, thanks for the invite. One thing I must say, when I first entered here, even now I'm awestruck, because I think my profession is not half as interesting as whatever is happening outside. This must be a fun profession. Now, coming back to the business, I think one issue with this sector is that it is unregulated. So we have, in the Indian context, we have the consumer laws to look at. And as regards the risk of liability, there could be deficiency of service, there could be deficiency of a deficient product, there could be negligence, there could be errors, omissions. it is possible. And we have one case which you all know, which has gone right up to the Supreme Court for bad hair treatment. And
is everybody aware of what he's talking about, the Supreme Court case? And do you know what is the amount demanded by the customer? Anybody? 1 crore for a bad haircut.
2 crores.
2 crores. It's 2 crores, yes.
Yeah. So what happens is, it is not just money, it is also, bad for the salon. For every, yeah, and also for the service provider, for the consumer. So now, of course, I don't want to say that it is only hair treatment, but take the case of another kind of service which is very common at salons, which is a massage or a hair therapy. And we were talking about it in the other room before we started this. Someone goes for a massage and there is a wrong nerve pressed. That's enormous consequences for everyone involved. Or take the case of a salon sells products these days, right? Shampoo and all that. So for God forbid, a wrong product or a bad batch product is sold. So who is liable? Manufacturer will say, salon, you are liable. Salon will try to pass on the buck, but I don't know ultimately what will happen. So again, so many questions, and Rahul is right. The consumers are becoming more and more not only aware but also vocal about it. Anything else, Rahul, I should touch upon before?
Yes, Anurag.
So, the technology is changing. If I remember going to salon or a hairdresser 10 years, 15 years back, the kind of machineries, technology, and the level of proficiency they had, my expectation was pretty less from them. 10 rupees lega, thode se baal kaat de, I need to go for my school and stuff like that. I'm sure there'll be people who would be getting expensive haircut and expensive hair treatment then as well. People have become more demanding. The products, both the technological products, whether we are talking about laser therapy or we are talking about, harsh chemicals used for your skin or for your hair, everything is becoming more difficult, more complicated. But at the same time, people are also more trained, I hope so. People are getting more trained, more certifications, more education has gone in there. So what is changing? Why is it becoming a bigger threat? As you mentioned, is the awareness. You mentioned the 2 crore for a bad haircut. Let me give you a very small story, but I'll start with how about 20 crores for a wrong hair treatment and skin treatment 2 days before a wedding. Someone was going for a destination wedding, hotel had a spa, they had experts, hair and hair specialists, skin specialists. Things went wrong. Bride rightfully refused to go on the mandal, the marriage ceremony thing. She said, I'm not going like this. More money was spent and all the guests were asked to stay on for 2 more days. Udaipur, big hotel, lot of expenditure. The father of the groom had marriage insurance, and the expenditure for 2 extra days of stay came around somewhere around 20-25 crores. Still, no salon or spa is under question right now. Insurance company paid the money to the father of the father, and I imagine groom and bride, everyone was happy. Now the insurance company went after. I don't know if you know the right of subrogation. If I settle a claim and there is someone I can hold responsible for, I will derive every penny from it. Long story short, that guy had to file for bankruptcy, the salon owner, and he never got back in the business. Of course, he could not afford to pay 20 CR, but the idea is that whatever he could pay, the lawyers of the insurance company came for their pound of flesh. Now, marriage insurance is also it's not relevant for this discussion, but it's a very new product. This new product came because there is a degree of awareness. People are more vocal about it. You make one mistake, I'm going to go on social media. I'm going to make sure that I hurt you enough or you give me my compensation back. So yes, awareness, the demography, the new woke generation, everyone is contributing. They are not... To err is to be human. I'm sure mistakes were done previously as well. But now new generation is making sure that people are held accountable. And I'm, not me, but the person who has lost something, whether it's one day of wedding or probably going for an interview with a bad rash on my face, I'm going to go and monetize my suffering as much as possible. So yes, the awareness is increasing and it is not changing the risk profile, but it is making it more effective from commercial standpoint of view. Those are my 2 cents. Rekha?
So that's a very interesting term, Anurag, you use, monetize my suffering. So I think all of us should be very, very...
And we have a lawyer here on the panel who would agree with that.
So, and I think this is very, very important to understand that all around us, there are people willing to monetize their suffering at our cost if we are not careful about protecting and minimizing risk for our business. Yes, Rekha.
So thanks a lot, Rahul, for the lovely introduction. And today's topic is very, very important and crucial for our industry. And bringing up this topic on board, I would like to thank Sandhya for this, bringing the platform for this kind of topic. It's really, really important for us. I wish all the salon owner and spa owners should have been in this hall to listen to this conversation, what is going to all the experts. So, from the Mona, Tona, Anita, all this from that salon till YLG, natural, enrich, where we are today in the corporate world. So starting from the individual salon, in the house or in small very area, and today we are in the bigger and bigger places and we are going more and more corporate and becoming as a visible industry. So that point of view, but still industry is in that phase where industry phase, we are still in Mona, Sona, Tona, salon owners. And in that case, they are not getting aware that consumer is already getting awareness, and that's the reason this kind of cases is popping up. Some cases which is we know, but some cases we really do not know. Insurance person is sitting with us, he can tell or focus on that point, how it is internal setting is done for these certain cases. So we, all of us as a salon owner or spa owner should be getting more and more aware that this topic or this, the subject is so important for us to understanding. Consumer awareness is increasing, so risk for our side is also increasing as a business owner. And we should be educating ourselves before putting up any salon or clinic or not even clinic, beauty parlor or spa. So this is very important for us. Yes, risk is as you are asking. So for this topic, yes, I am agreeing risk is increasing for the consumer side.
Thank you, Rekha.
Thank
Yes,
you. Thank you, Rahul. He introduced me as an exponent of women entrepreneurship. I'm a beneficiary of women entrepreneurship. My wife Veena's refusal to continue as a housewife was the beginning of the brand Naturals, and that's how the whole journey began. Whenever you see you get a pomegranate fruit, you can break it and count the number of seeds in that pomegranate fruit. But if you plant one seed, you will not be able to judge how many fruits will come from that one seed. That is how much Naturals have become from there. I used to give a lot of gyan, but today I have come here not to give output. I am come to here to get a lot of input. Two very important people are here to talk about what all we should not do. Even as a big chain, there are many things we take it for granted. We think it will not happen to us. It will happen to our neighbor. It will happen to America. It will not happen to us. I think it is very important that we understand what are the different problems what all can be at least avoided. What can we do to avoid? I think that's exactly where we are at this point of time. Thanks to Anish and Anurag, and we are here to listen to you more than giving us what we want to say.
So let me come to Anurag. Since we've already touched upon this topic of insurance and how can that protect our business. So first let me ask you, and I would like the other panelists to add on, what are the ways in which we can cut risk for our business?
I will answer this question from a little broader perspective. I think what we really are focusing right now is that how we can have a better risk management. It would be impossible for you to avoid. Let me say, if I say, you know what, you should stop using harsh chemicals if you really don't want that kind of things to happen. Now, but you can't do that, right? So risk avoidance will not be an option here, but risk management is. Let's start with identifying. If we all agree that yes, it is a credible risk, yes, it can impact my balance sheet, it can impact my brand, then let's get to the second stage. Do I have an option to avoid this risk? Not really. Can I invest little more in, let's say, having better practices? Can I train my operators, the technicians in a better way? Can I use better machineries? Can I use, have proper AMC on those machineries? Can I have a disclaimer signed with any each consumer who comes not for a haircut but for anyone who is going through a skin or a hair or any complicated? You can do all of these things, and trust me, Anish and I will not be enough to guide you because you know your business. I'm sure each one of you would have seen at least one complaint from one consumer. Do whatever you can do to avoid it, but please understand, when things have to go wrong, they will go wrong. You may mess up someone's little bit of hairdo right before interview or marriage. This is one example I know, that's why I'm repeating it. A wrong nerve press of a person like me, it would really doesn't matter. But what if I'm preparing for a sports event, right? Then you're messing with my entire career. So you would never know what your error would cause, what kind of damage it would cause. And you will be making mistakes. I have made mistakes. I can assure all of us we do make mistakes. The question is, when it happens, when actually, and pardon my French, when actually shit hit the fan, what are we going to do about it? Whether, let's say, even if it's a frivolous allegation, a frivolous lawsuit on you, are you going to shut down your shops and start running to lawyers' officers and courts and judges? Is that best use of your time? No. Insurance policy is going to facilitate you to defend yourself in a lot of these scenarios. And hence, an insurance product should be considered only as a part of risk management. Remember, the first thing is to identify what all can we do about it, how we can train people better, how we can maintain our equipments better. Let's not wait to get corona before we start wearing the masks. Right? Those are my 2 cents.
So Anish, you started in your opening address, you touched upon this whole thought of whose liability is it? Is it the salon's liability? Is it the product manufacturer's liability? Is it the individual who is doing the service who is liable for something going wrong? So in terms of from the legal side, how does the law look at it?
See, it's like this. Should we take service first and then products?
Yes. A service which is done using a particular product. So let's say...
No, take a service which the product doesn't play such an important role.
Okay, so then 2 scenarios. One is a service where, let's say, a haircut, and let's say a treatment which has that product is integral to that treatment.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, this lady who went to the Supreme Court for her hair issue, we've all had bad haircuts. Partly because of, why bother or lack of awareness, we've not done anything like what has happened in this particular case. But if someone gives you a bad haircut and it is very important for you, you're a model or an actor, you are, okay. You are a model or an actor, then I don't know for a salon how much investment would you do in having a proper employment contract with your staff? So that in the employment contract with your staff, you would make your staff liable. I don't know how, it has not been tested, at least in India. So I don't know how successful the salon would be to pass on the responsibility to the staff, but at least you have something, right? Now, Rahul was talking about products. Some defect in, say, a very well-known shampoo or conditioner caused immense grief to the consumer. So the consumer is in a bad shape. He is not going to let go, or she. And he or she, they don't know the manufacturer. They know only the salon. So they will reach out to the salon, that's for sure. Whether or not the salon will be able to reach out to the manufacturer, in most cases are international companies and the products are imported into India, is a big question.
Yes, you can.
And this comes from the experience of handling few claims, it really doesn't matter who is actually at fault. It doesn't really matter who is actually at fault. So if I'm hurt and I want compensation, there's something that what we call deep pocket theory. I'm going to point my finger towards the person who can actually pay me maximum compensation. So how, the example you asked, when a product is used in a service, so I would first go to the product owner. The product manufacturer would say, you know what, this product was not supposed to be advised to you or should not have been applied to you. You know, this is their mistake. Now, I have been alleged as a product manufacturer, but I dust my shoulder and I absolve myself of this responsibility. Then it would come to let's say, the salon. Now, salon, who would be able to pay me more compensation? The individual therapist who worked on me or the owner? Who has more money to pay me? And money is the only reason of me seeking compensation. I'm not here to change the world and make you more learned and wise. I want my money, right? So I'm going to sue the person who can pay me most money.
See, Anurag, if a person came to me and said that he or she has been hurt by a hair treatment shampoo or conditioner in a salon, I would tell him or her to sue both the salon and the manufacturer. And I would put responsibility on both of them. There are so many things. The manufacturer will say that the salon did not keep the shampoo in proper storage conditions. Possible. So this is, I think, Sandhya, such a good topic you've chosen. So untested in India. Maybe at insurance levels, yes, but there are not too many case laws on this.
So they invest heavily to make sure that they don't become litigation and settle out of court.
So Anurag specializes in things where they manage the event so that nothing comes out in the media. So I think that is a good enough reason to go for insurance. Don't you think so? Yes?
So for example, you guys, all of you are aware of those 2 crore hair mess up case. I was not because I don't read much newspaper. But I'm aware of a 20 crore claim because I handled it.
You also look money part more.
Next question, please.
We also talked about disclaimers. See, there are certain things you can do, do's and don'ts. I think how you use the word risk management.
Correct.
You can do that. Have disclaimers. Most importantly, try to contain try to mitigate the dispute, try to contain the dispute within the four corners of the salon. Have someone, like in the Supreme Court matter, one big grievance that this lady had was that after she had a bad haircut, the salon offered her a hair treatment. And the product that they used was, it made her hair even worse. So don't do, there are so many learnings from this. Then try to have, if possible, a dedicated person within the salon who has an expertise in dealing with, maybe the manager, who has the expertise of dealing with these kind of issues. So that is the second, I would say, try to contain.
So I would like to just add a few things which you asked for the industry side. What precaution or what should be taken by us? So important is that first is as coming from the product side, which is very even it happened with me because owners as a salon, many times you are also unaware that what kind of products you are using. First is that is many of you are not having the habit to see what kind of ingredients are in the products. Second is labeling of the product is correct or right. That also many of you are not aware because you are just using for the service, and as he is saying that is correctly mentioning, you should have the quality control person in your salon. No matter it is bigger or smaller or chain salon or individual salon, but one person should be looking after this. Other side, what I am coming from is product supplier. I had a incident which I was talking with you guys. It's like one of the salon owner, she had Dermalogica brand with her, and one of the product which I don't know, it is sold or not sold by her. I really don't have clue about that. She changed the label of the product. And I don't know another case that is, metallurgy department had that issue, and when I went for my passport renewal, that time I got to know that case is on me, not on the salon owner. And literally, for 5 months before my accident, I was supposed to travel US, I could not travel.
So Rekha was prevented from traveling because she had a case against her which she never knew about, which was filed by somebody somewhere, and because of that she could not travel, and because the case reflects in the passport. Any criminal case filed against an individual who is responsible for a brand or a product or anything, you can be stopped from traveling. So next time you go to your holiday, please think.
Rahul, one thing before we forget, sorry. There is no insurance for criminal charges. Only civil.
No, the defense cost can be paid till such time the court adjudicate and holds you guilty. So a certain level of defense is available. Also, you mentioned that, sorry, we are interjecting. Please, you finish your point then.
So what I mean to say that is, this is the owner who is running the salon. They dare to have this kind of action for the brands. Apart from that, they have the products which is like, you will see the nail area is mostly in the nails area. So many products are coming from China and other places without any brand. It is just import under the illegal way, and we are using that. So we as an industry leader or we as an industry player should not encourage this kind of activities. Many places you will see there is no labeling for the product. And other side, there is a law that product has to register in India. There is a law that product should have the proper labeling, including the responsible person number. That's how it happened on me. That case happened because my number is written, my name is written on the product, one of the company owner. We have to have that as per the law. So this is the things which you all should understand, and you should be aware about this. So please do not encourage the product which is not registered. You should be asking them for the registration. Are you registered? if you are registered, then only I will use. As an industry player, no matter you are single salon or chain of salon, but you should be asking that. Of course, chain of salon, they have the mandatory, they are asking, but individual salons should be working on this pattern also. Apart from that, standardizing your services, looking after all these qualities properly maintained or not, and discrimination, what you said, it is not the important for as a law point, but as our side securing ourselves, we should have that discrimination on backside of your invoices. So these are the few steps which we can take from our side. I don't you can.
So I want to talk about taking a detour. First, every salon should get it insured against the fire, the theft. I think the basics which can really be a much bigger ones. I think the insurance a couple of our salons, when they were getting into trouble, the insurance actually saved them. I think getting the salon insured could be a very good start point, and getting all the service providers the health insurance and the life insurance for them can be another big saver and help what we are doing to the industry as a whole. I think these two in my mind are more basic, but on top of it, whatever they are saying, many are learning for me. I think it's best to allow the experts to share more views.
So Anurag, let me ask you now, is it worth taking an insurance? Is it not too expensive?
Not at all.
So
Not
can you educate us on the costs of doing an insurance for covering my professional liability and my general liability?
Okay, you have caught me off guard. I would not be able to answer these questions in straightforward way, but what I can, because every risk is different, if you have 10 salons and you're doing 100 activities, it would be different from one salon with 100 activity or more or less. So, but what I can assure you is that not even a single insurance company in the country is making profit out of this. Not even a single insurance company. So someone is getting paid. Some claims are getting paid. The product is very developed. For example, Anish mentioned that if something goes wrong, try to arrest the problem. Now the insurance policies are designed in a way that in case someone has a burn injury because of your therapy, you take him or her or they or them to hospital, get them first aid and everything done. The insurance policy is going to pay for even that as well. They are also going to give you certain provision for loss mitigation, loss minimization and stuff like that. So not every time you have to wait for a litigation, allegation or a legal notice to trigger your policy. There are a lot of provision available under the policy. And like I mentioned, it would be very difficult to say that, how much for a 1 lakh limit, how much, premium would be paid. But I can assure you, there is a 10-year thumb rule that we have in our industry for this product, which means that in 10 years, you're going to have at least one payable claim. You may have 10 incidences, but you will have one claim and which is going to wipe out all the premium that you have paid in 10 years. So end of the day, and I'm not suggesting it as an investment, but at end of the year, in 10 years, you will get your premium back unless you do your job very well and you're really, really lucky. Emphasis on lucky.
So Anish, my question to you is that very often we find that if there is a consumer grievance or there is a consumer complaint, the authorities or the judiciary typically tends to side with the consumer. Why is that? Even though the claim may or may not be justified.
I don't know why it is like that, but maybe it is because the individual has suffered and the individual is against the might of a big salon chain. Maybe it is, after all, everyone is a human being, right? Whoever is deciding what has gone wrong is also a human being. So maybe it is because of that, possibly.
So again, a question to you, Anurag. What are if you can just do a 101 on what kind of insurance policies does an entrepreneur who is running their own salon, what would you recommend to an entrepreneur like that? And what would that insurance policy cover? So the cost here said that it could be different, but at least let us learn what are the insurance policies, what kind of insurance do you need to take, and what does that insurance policy cover, and what does it not cover?
First of all, that's not 101, that is 101, 102, 103, a bunch of them, but let me give it a try. So the existing products which is available would be a professional indemnity insurance and a general liability, commercial general liability insurance policies. On a normal day, I would suggest you to buy both, but when sitting here and seeing a different combination of products and services and kind of things that you are doing for your customers and clients, I would want to have a single policy which is not impossible. We have done it in the past and it can be done. It would be a matter of standardization. We would want to have one singular policy which should cover your both professional and your general liability. Now, what are the differences? Both policies are designed to cover third-party losses, not losses, direct losses to you, but to your customers. They come in three categories. Bodily injury, I get burned, stuff like that. The other one would be disease and sickness. Now, disease is very obvious. Sickness is not. Sickness is mental trauma, mental anguish. There are a lot of terms that lawyers have created, and they do add to compensation. Now, when we were talking about compensation of 2 crores, 20 crores, I have handled medical malpractices claim where the compensation is far less. Court tends to answer to your question, Bhalchandra, based on my limited experience. Court, depending on which lobby, which industry is being represented or has been held accountable, court always have an intent to set a precedence for next litigation, the next mistake done by a person, and that's why they may take a harsher or a lenient role. The product is designed to cover any liability that comes to you, anyone seeking compensation or injunctive relief from you on account of anything that you have done to them, done for them. And it's as simple as that. I would not want to complicate it by giving you exclusions and stuff like that, but the idea is that whether you're providing product, whether you're providing services, if anyone alleges, and the key word is alleges, no one needs to prove that you actually did mistake. I'm saying that you did a bad job. I got skin ailment, whether it happened because of you or because of something else I did when I'm back home, or probably I did not listen because you told me not to go to ocean after a skin treatment and I still went. If I'm alleging you, you would need a certain line of defense. You would not want to leave your job or cancel your US trip to go to court and settle these things, right? You need a line of defense. And if insurance policy provides it, I think it would be a far more easier and less messy way of having one line of defense. It may work, it will work most of the time. Even when it doesn't work, you will at least have a dependable, reliable defense mechanism in place for yourself. I hope that answers the question.
That you have to ask the audience. Yes, please. Just getting the mic.
So maybe that question's more for our Mr. Anish Ghoshal there. So when I do treatments or I do skin services, I get my customer to sign a no liability form that if tomorrow something happens, you're not going to come back to me. How does that work as a tool? I don't have the form yet, but I have been contemplating of putting that form in place for a very long time. Also putting up a no liability, disclaimer at the premises itself. When you enter my premises, I want to put that disclaimer there. Is that something that our chain salons here do? Is it something that works? If not, then what is the other way to handle it?
See, I don't think it will completely exonerate you.
Okay.
Okay. For example, if the consumer is able to prove that you were or your staff was negligent, then it will not be very easy.
Right.
Okay, but
Okay.
still,
Okay.
as I said earlier, try to contain the risk, the dispute, the issue. Have disclaimers on the reverse of the bill,
Right.
on your website.
Right.
As you said, notice.
Yes, notice at entrance.
Yeah.
Right.
Now, whether or not a consumer will want to sign something before a service, that I don't know.
Right.
But definitely you can say that, something short of you're entering in your own risk.
Yeah.
Not in so many words, because then you'll never come back.
Yes.
But
it has to be worded right. I get
yeah,
it.
wording is very important.
Very important,
It
yeah.
must not scare the consumer away.
Yeah.
But it must be something that you can touch should something go wrong.
Yeah, I would like to ask, Rahul and Mr. Kumaravel, do you have such disclaimers outside your salons?
Well, we don't have a notice put outside our salon.
But you do have
Definitely
disclaimers
not.
somewhere.
But we do have disclaimers which are in different places.
Right.
And we are also trying to make it tighter.
Yeah.
Again, and this is a question I asked Anish before entering.
Yeah.
Even if the consumer has signed something,
Yeah.
does it absolve me of my responsibility? The clear answer is no.
No.
If you make a mistake or there is an error, you are still accountable for negligence.
Right.
So there is multiple layers of protection which you can build for your organization.
Yeah.
And at the same time, be prepared that there will be certain things which will blow away all those barriers and still go out.
Yeah, I have already been through it, so.
Yes.
Hello. Yeah, hi. Just a question, just for understanding, building up on the same the question which was asked. Okay, hello. Yeah. So when we are saying that we are having disclaimers or when anything, just taking when they're having a service or something, right? There is generally some terms of service and there is something like limitation of liability. Does those all apply or does those can be done along with insurances to safeguard the salons?
The question is towards Anish.
Anish, yes. In terms of the legal understanding of it.
See, as I said, you can have all kinds of disclaimers. Is that your question, or disclaimers?
Yes, this is the disclaimers, yeah.
You can have all kinds of disclaimers, but if I, as a consumer, am able to show that you did something which is professionally wrong, like you used some hair product on my hair, so instead of giving me a good shine and growth and all that, I lost my hair. Then what help will the disclaimer give? Because after all, I'm coming to you because you're holding yourself out as an expert, as a professional. That is your USP. So it is good to have, but whether or not ultimately the court will say okay, because the consumer knew what the limitation of liability, that is really doubtful. I don't know what the insurance, how the insurance guys will react to it. But this will not give, and to answer your question also, this will not give complete comfort. It can mitigate, it can show that, all these precautions were taken. I don't know how the insurance will look at it.
So we suggest all our clients to have disclaimers put in place and have back-to-back legal contracts from the product manufacturers and equipment manufacturers. All of these things have, in my 17 years of experience, have helped only in establishing that my client was serious and they are not some, absolutely careless, reckless person running a shop. So these things were able to establish that my client is serious about this thing. If you want to ask, if you really want to know, this does not dilute or absolve you from any of your liability. But it helps you save you from being established to be grossly negligent and being just negligent. It also doesn't matter whether you made a mistake or not. Let's say even if you followed all the procedures you were supposed to follow, and I'll end up getting hurt. Code is not going to see whether you made a mistake or not. The question the code would ask, whether are you responsible for my current situation? If you are held responsible to pay me compensation, even if you did everything right. Right? So when we talk about risk management, insurance is just a tool to transfer your exposure. But before that, you have to buy locks, you have to keep your door closed. There are a lot of things that you have to do at your end. Things still can go wrong, and that's when insurance will come into picture. I hope that answers.
Can I give you one live practical example? Many years ago, I was going to catch a flight from Delhi to Chennai, and I noticed that I needed a manicure. So I went to a nearby salon, a 5-star hotel, and that fellow, when he did that with that cuticle removal, I think these 3 fingers, they were in a mess. Now, tell me, am I going to think about those disclaimers, or am I going to be very angry with you? And I don't care what you wrote in those disclaimers. I'm going to give you grief.
So remember the words, monetize my grief.
And one more.
So that's what your customer is looking at.
Yeah. So my question.
One more thing which happens commonly in our industry, like any actors, leading actors, like they bring the photos or hairstyle and put front of you and or front of the hairstylist and iske jaisa mera bhi banana hai. Is it common? This is very common in our industry, right? And we always try to make efforts to look like a Katrina or look like any XYZ actor. But we don't say, no madam, you will not look like that. Your hairstyle, your face is different. That saying no is very important. You can convince in other way, but saying no is very important for these things. So start learning saying no to your customers also.
So my...
They should educate their staff.
Yeah, educate. That's right. Educate staff. And what you were saying about the incident, what happened with you, and we were sharing inside, like he has his friend incident also, like paralyzed the body completely because of the wrong massage. So this is the cases is happening in the reality. It's not like some stories or something like that. So important is that is training your staff on and off is also important. That's why I said quality management. Management should be in your salon. Though you are alone, single salon owner or chain of salon owners, you should have that quality control in your salon, including everything, product or educating the staff, everything. But most of the time we think that is एजुकेशन लाइक स्टाफ को ट्रेन किया, ट्रेन आज किया, स्टाफ भाग जा रहा है कल. लेकिन आपको एक ध्यान में रखना है, आपका जो सलून का कल्चर है, योर कल्चर इज डिफरेंट देन अदर सलून. सो यू मस्ट टेक एफर्ट्स टू ट्रेन योर स्टाफ.
Okay. So my question was more towards in the same thing itself, like how the airlines have a clause, like if your baggage is lost, irrespective of whatever the amount would be inside, they have a limitation that this is what I'm going to give you. That this is the maximum compensation I can give you in terms of a flight delay or in terms of a baggage loss, something like that. So in the same aspects, in terms of a service done or something, can that same principle apply to a salon as well?
I don't think so, because for airlines, as far as I know, it is backed by law, statute. So airlines can take shelter, but in your case, you can't. There is no law. Good thing, bad thing that I don't know, but there is no law, there is no regulation.
Certainly our industry doesn't have the licensing.
Yeah.
That's the important point there.
Correct.
So we are not the license holder, we are just shop and establish license, we are just holding that only one.
Correct.
So we don't have the industry license.
Just two more aspects to it. Aviation is highly regulated industry, and the example that you gave was about luggage. There is no sort of limitation can be put on bodily injury. There is no way. So the airline says that if I lose your baggage, I'm going to pay you 250 rupees per kg and something like that. But they don't say if my plane crash and you die, I'm still going to pay you 25,000, right? At that point in time, a huge compensation get paid, still established by a lot of insurance and legal mechanism and all that. Bodily injury, sickness, death of a human is not same as a luggage being lost, destroyed, or whatever.
One thing, under the Consumer Protection Act, there is a limitation period of 2 years for making a claim against a service provider. Something else I wanted to say, I don't know whether you can think about it, if all of you got together and shared your experiences, like got into a room, shared your experiences, and come up with some kind of an industry do's and don'ts. Again, this Supreme Court judgment is such a learning thing for everyone, for every service provider. That lady actor perhaps would not have been so angry, but the staff in the salon who made that bad, hair treatment, he may not be misbehaved, but he was very abrasive towards this lady. So that provoked her even more. That first you gave me a bad haircut, then a bad hair treatment, and now you're shouting at me. Wait, I'll show you. So, soft skills.
So I wanted to know this is, in how much time can a person file a claim for something which has gone wrong? So like sometimes what happens in waxing or something, peeling of skin happens and it goes okay within a week or so. But even after a week or so, maybe after a month or so, they say pay us compensation or pay a claim. So can they still file a claim, or how is it? I mean everything is okay now, right? That's the thing.
See, as I told you, under the Consumer Protection Act, the limitation period is 2 years. But obviously, for something like waxing, 2 years is out of the question. The claim will come to you in 1 week.
No, but even after a week when everything is fine, can you still file a claim? I mean, if the skin is peeled off, it's become okay, it's fine, everything. So they can still file a claim.
Renu, that hair lady could have got the hair again, but still she got
How can she prove that? I mean, if it's fine, how can she prove that there was a problem?
See, in this Supreme Court matter again, sorry, it's Bible, right? Yeah. So I keep talking about it. The Consumer Forum awarded 2 crores, and then the salon owner, the company, they went appeal. Ultimately, Supreme Court. Supreme Court said that Consumer Forum has given 2 crores, but what is the proof? Apparently, the Consumer Forum gave that 2 crore compensation, but did not consider enough evidence so as to satisfy the Supreme Court. So Supreme Court remanded the matter back to the Consumer Forum, and then that lady came up with whatever evidence that was asked. So yes, evidence is must. So in the case of waxing, I don't know, maybe photographs, maybe a medical, a doctor's certificate saying that the skin has been damaged. All these things will show.
Okay, fine.
I would want to also attempt to answer this question. I got a facial and haircut done 2 days back for this event, and it was horribly done. I did not... It's hypothetical. You already complimented me twice. So... What's wrong with this haircut, tell me? No, it's a hypothetical case, please. So I did not realize my haircut was bad. I came here, and after that, by the end of the evening, few people were honest enough to tell me And then I went back, I resigned from my job, and I'm depressed for 2 years. 3 years. And once I've recovered from my mental illness, from my emotional trauma and stuff like that, then I come back to you. In that case, there is no limitation of liability which will be applicable because it will be counted from the time when I recovered. I have handled claims of medical, malpractice where years, 7-8 years after that person came and just provided a psychiatrist receipt that I have been in therapy for 3 years, and now when I have healed, now I'm coming back for my rightful compensation. So disclaimers, limitation of liability, all these things are beautiful tools created by lawyers, destroyed by lawyers, and people who want compensation will find one or the other way to build a nice story to support their claim.
Okay, the question is to you. Will insurance cover everything?
No, you don't have to. No insurance in the world will cover everything. Everything is a scary word.
No, I'm just sorry.
But I would say that it is an effective product. It will cover a lot. And yes, every insurance policy has 3 sections. One, insurance clause which says what are they covering. The second one is conditions, on what grounds they are covering. And the third one, exclusions, what are they not covering.
Okay.
So all these 3 things has to be understood and has to be well imbibed in at least the people in managerial position to make sure that they are using their policies right.
Okay, thank you.
So Anurag, my question is to you. I'm asking you one question on behalf of the industry. Is this product designed for our industry? Any special product is designed for our industry? As a service industry, yes, but then as a beauty and wellness industry, is this any product is designed for us?
So, unlike your asset insurance or motor insurance, liability insurance is like pretty much for what you do for your clients. What they want is something that you want to give. So it is customizable if you give exact understanding of what you want to achieve from that insurance policy. Yes, it can be customized to your requirement. In fact, your policy may be slightly different from Kumarji's or from Rahul's. But yes, a product exists. You just need an effective partner who can, understand and bridge the gap between conditions, insurance clause, and exclusions.
If there are any more questions from the audience, we'd be very happy to take them on.
Sandhya were asking something.
I was only commenting on his facial. It's outstanding.
Answer, ma'am, there is no facial. I took a shower and it was long overdue.
Then, all the beauty therapists and salon owners here are going to feel very depressed. Because they all must be thinking, because what can they do for you?
We are in such a comfort zone. Our consumer is compared to other country like US and other places. You see, very rarely someone is filing the case on us. I hope everyone will agree with me. In US and other countries, small thing also go wrong, immediately they sue the customer.
But there it is compulsory to take insurance or any
So Renu, it's not just insurance. The law also mandates that the
She has a question.
operators have to be certified and yes, they have a license. Yes.
I was adding to that only. There the industry is very regulated. Things
Correct.
are done in a very structured format versus what happens over here. So if there is no regulation that we are bound by to start with, to penalize, definitely there is an action that happens. Is what is, really bothering and getting me to think now. There are no laws that you have to follow to do something like this, but if something goes wrong, you can definitely be penalized to a very high level. Now, if that happens in our industry, what happens to the hotel industry? Do they also go under situations like this, like what we are discussing here? Mental trauma, I was going for an interview, I had food at your restaurant, I have fallen ill, I've been not able to get up for a month. Are you experiencing things like that over there as well?
My colleague and I, we have been handling 3 of the top hotel chain in Asia and in India for over a decade. More than 700 to 800 litigations every year, and not even a single one has reached newspaper, which includes death, paralysis, and I really don't want to spoil the mood, but death of infants because of negligence, because lifeguard was not there, or the parents took a stupid call and ignored their kids in kiddie pools and stuff like that. Yes, it happens, and they pay huge premiums. They get huge claims payout of it. So let's say, I will not name a hotel, but if you go to a hotel and the valet is getting your car and the car is naked, 10 minutes of conversation, they will get you a new bumper. But you need to know that. So yes, hotel industry, they are bleeding they're bleeding.
Right. So, sorry, just one last thing. So, would you be able to highlight what should we be aware when it comes to consumer rights? What should we read so that we are able to educate ourselves and ensure that we can do some risk, we can prevent ourselves from getting into such scenarios? What should I know so that I can work towards it? Insurance is a cover, but I can also do a prevention by being more aware. What is it that I should know?
I mean, some
laws. I'm talking specifically of laws that I should know.
Look, I really doubt if there is any such law which will teach you or anyone what to do, what not to do. But if you read this judgment in this case, I'll give you the citation. If you read that, then it will give you both directly and indirectly do's and don'ts.
Right.
So, as I said, 100% comfort level? No. But at least you have something to show. Like, for example, this person complained. Immediately, you had a risk mitigation guy who gave proper attention to him or her, ensured medical treatment. All that helps. And in a case like this, it will be very wrong to say, look, I have a disclaimer.
Yes, I agree. Sure.
One more point I want to highlight. Nowadays, related with our industry, I'm telling as a consumer point of view. Nowadays, you see so many influencers are popping up, so many bloggers are popping up. Where is the license? Who is giving them license? Who is giving them title? No one is asking. But so many of them, beauty, all of a sudden you see, we don't know even their people are from the industry, but they are beauty bloggers, they are beauty influencers, there are so many titles they are carrying. So who is giving them title? So we don't know. As a consumer point of view, we don't even ask them. So these are the things is happening around us.
I think on influencer marketing also, Supreme Court is getting involved. I was saying even on influencer marketing, Supreme Court is taking out regulations on what they can do and what they can't do.
The ASCII Advertising and Social Media Council of India is having regulations for influencers and in place. In fact, a very big set of rules has just been put out for influencers. What they can claim, what they can't claim, whether it is their personal experience or not, they have to state it. Whether they are paid for it or not, they have to state all of this. Please read.
And then I had a very bad experience in one of the exhibition where blogger came. They are like, and ऐसा product लगाना है, मैं मेरे customer को जो बोलूँगी वो customer ले लेगा. उसको ये लगाना है, इससे ये आ रहा है. That was the language by the blogger sitting on the stage. And talking about that, we were just watching, we were so shocked. In fact, she was interviewing that blogger. And it was such a shock. I was saying like, that is the language. She is not even talking about the ingredient. Whitening ho jayega, face saped ho jayega, gora ho jayega, whatever, that kind of language. So this was the things is happening in our industry. So real player is going back, and in fact for the social also we should talk about that. Next topic we should take that. So anyway, it is a good conversation today about the important point. This topic.
Yes.
Just last, so as salon owners or, one who has 1 or 2 units or many units, we teach them very properly all the techniques and everything, whatever the procedure. But when we are not looking at them or when we are not paying attention or when they are on their own, they do their own thing, and then if there's an issue, it comes on to us. But I feel there should be some kind of contract where they could be made liable, but it's done abroad in Australia and I guess in US too, but I don't know if it's actually done by top salons in India. I'm not sure yet. So
See, the liability, you can always have a contract with your hairstylist or beautician that the liability is theirs, but what is their ability to pay in case there is somebody asking you for a damage? 1 lakh rupees, 2 lakh rupees, 5 lakh rupees, that's it? Not even that much. So what is the point?
So what can be done then?
Yeah, it's a very important actually point she is asking. So do you have anything right, what she is saying that is when as a salon owner they are training to labor as a beautician or a hairdresser. But then sometimes whatever is her training is given, they don't work according to their training, organization training. And then some messed up things happen. So how owner is responsible for that?
See, again, this is something I mentioned earlier, back-to-back contracts. Anurag also said back-to-back contracts with your staff, with your supplier, shampoos, conditioners. This kind of contract with your staff, definitely Rahul is correct. It's not going to take you a long way for compensation. But if you are sued for criminal negligence, where insurance is not going to help, because you have to go to jail. So there at least you can tell the authorities that, look, I am not responsible, this fellow is. And it is there in the contract. So it will help. Maybe not 100%, but it will help.
I just think that all the industry people should, the seniorly people should come together and
That's what
do
I said.
something
That's
which
what
is
I
there
said.
abroad
That
so much. In India, nothing is
If
there.
all of you get into a room, and come up with a list of do's and don'ts.
See, but I wanted to add here how it can be a measurable thing. Just now Anurag said...
Can't hear you.
I'm saying just now Anurag said that 2 days back he had a haircut, right? So there are the times when the therapist is doing their job perfectly, but the client before the service demands something, but after the service they say this is not what we asked for. So I don't think so we can measure that thing where our therapist is right or wrong there. Because when you talk about a particular treatment, yeah, there is a protocol like A, B, C, D. But when you talk about the services like a haircut and or someone come and sue you for that, you cannot measure that. I mean, after doing that, the client demanded something else at the first, but that after doing that, they are like, I am not liking it.
So what is your question?
Consultation form is one of the important things which we should
I
actually
just want to
sign
understand
before
what
the
is your question.
No. She asked earlier regarding, with her that if we, sorry, I missed it what I was asking. I went into a haircut part.
No, you are saying
I wanted to add that, after giving a treatment also, that the owner is, the responsible person. But as an owner, we are assured from our side that we are doing everything to give a best training. But it can be a vice versa. After giving a training, our team is right, but the client is, turning back then and then this is not the service we asked for. So many times these scenarios also come in the salon. Yeah, as you said, the consultation form.
So in hair we never do that because it's not possible for us practically. That's why we never, any customer comes, we never sign any agreement from them. But microblading nowadays people are doing, they do that. I saw that. These people are doing, are you diabetic or are we? So similar kind of, it is just so small, but legal point of view, he can put more focus on that. But as what I'm saying, that is still related with the hair, you guys can have the sign agreement before the touching their hair.
See,
that's what I feel.
I feel what she was trying to say is, a client comes in, asks for a consultation for a haircut. Okay, so we consult them for a haircut. She wanted a change of style. We've given her a change of style as per what she wanted. But after finishing the haircut, she says, I don't like it. You spoil my day. You spoil my this. You spoil my everything. So how can we prove that we've given her what she wanted and she can sue us for 2 crores? How does it help?
My answer was earlier, but they can give again legal point.
You can't.
No, saying no.
You can't. There is no solution for a bad customer. Neither a short term nor a long term.
So I
What
think...
you can, sorry, what you can do is do your best so that, and it doesn't matter whether you're actually at fault or not. It doesn't matter. It's what can be proven in court of law. वो बोलते हैं ना वो न्याय की मूर्ति अंधी होती है, वो केवल evidence and this and that. It doesn't matter whether you are saying that you did everything right? But for the wrong facial and haircut, I'm the one who's claiming to go into depression, right? It's my word, my thing against yours. So there is no solution to it. You can just protect yourself. My mom used to tell me that locks are for decent people. The thieves will come from any other means necessary. So at least get your locks right. Sorry?
I'm saying say this in Hindi, English is both against value.
ताले चोरों के लिए नहीं, शरीफों के लिए होता है. चोर तो कैसे भी घुस आएगा.
Well, I like this idea. If you can devise some kind of a consultation form, even for haircuts, I don't know.
So for haircuts it's very difficult because haircut is something very personalized. So when you do a consultation for a haircut, you're not going to tell them that we're going to give you bangs here, give you this. It's very difficult. Especially for chemical treatment, we can do a consultation form and we make sure we get them signed when we do for consultation. Even after that, a consultation is done for hair color, get it signed, customer has agreed to everything, signed on the consultation form. After getting the hair color, says, I'm not liking it. Now what is the solution for that? There's no solution.
Renu, but what I am saying that is, most of the time, how much time you are spending to having the consultation form from signing from the customer is very rare, very rare. That's true. And another thing, we may take care in the skin area.
No, hair also.
But there also, this is a problem in the industry which we should be accepting. And one more thing that I said, someone is coming with a photo or some, thought process bringing that, like I should look like Katrina or any XYZ trendy actor. So our training should include that. Say no to that first. Important is that you will not look like her or your hair will not look, because there are many things are involved, as you know.
Yes,
expert.
But Rekha, what I'm trying to say, even after taking all the steps, you will not look like this haircut, your hair will look like this, your hair will look like this. Every consultation has been done. But what happens? Human, has some picture in his mind, consultation is done, agreed to something. After a haircut, even though in the salon, very nice, beautiful, everything, goes home, 10 people say, what have you done? And then what do we do?
It's more about there are many laws, customers problem, and everything, but there has to be something else.
I had an instance, I'll tell you. A lady came with such long haircut. She wanted to go for a very short one, so that's a very different change of style. So she came, she said, no, I want a bob and all that, everything fine. Proper consultation, we did a bob for her. She was very happy, very good, everything nice. She went home, she called up crying, my husband says, go to your house. I don't want you with bob till your hair grows long, don't come back. Now what do I do? What does the salon do for
I
that?
don't know the legal position of this allegation, but insurance policy will not pay for that. That kind of mental injury is not caused by you or your haircut. It was her choice and her husband's disagreement. Yeah. Please don't expect insurance or any other solution to work on this situation.
Anurag, this is a very common incident happening in our industry, very common. Not that extreme level, but it's very common. Like, I wanted this way, your job is not good or your stylist is not good. So this is on and off.
Is it possible to
every salon
document
is
it?
facing this.
See, if I'm going to your salon and I want a particular haircut for a style, is it possible for you to... No? Not possible?
No, consulting, yes, consultation we should start.
Haircut is not possible. Chemical treatments, color and all is possible.
Yeah.
Haircut is not possible.
But Renu, why not? Your length is here, we are going to do this kind of length. We should have the signing agreement from them. That's what I mean to say.
It's okay, but you can't
Yeah.
ears and bangs and all.
So tomorrow, if what happens in her case, her husband he put the case. What happens in that? So that's how this is a learning lesson. Actually, how I learned from my passport, when I went for the renewal of my passport, I got to know. So from that time, we are trying to send a legal this one. You are not allowed to change the label of the product because we are authorized, not you. We are also not authorized. That is, brand owner is authorized for that. So you know that our product labeling comes from France, not from here. We can't. We send labeling format from here to France company and they do the labeling from there. If I don't do, I have to have the 4% is reduction in my, input this one. I have to pay the custom here, 4%. So these are the rules are there in the import and export side, but not for the service side for our industry.
Can the panelists ask one question?
Yes.
Anurag and I would like complimentary vouchers.
We'll give you so many people.
My next shower and haircut is not due for next 2 months.
Some will be valid for 6 months.
Well, I shower every day. So.
You guys have a job
They'll give you valid for 6 months.
on the stage itself.
But on the topic of documenting everything, and I'm probably this is a male perspective. If I go for a haircut, a person like me, I'm anyways very annoyed that I have to go and get a haircut. If you're asking me to sign forms and everything, I can guarantee you I will not be a customer. So there is a also, when every time I go for a haircut, you tell me that, your black and pepper doesn't look good, you should color your hair. And one fine day I succumb to your pressure and say, ठीक है यार, चल बाल मेरा color कर दे. And then you come with a form and you tell me you're not taking any responsibility. Really, you're not helping your cause.
Yes, sir. This is also one of the biggest problems.
You are correct. This is the culture in the salon, but now we have to change some other way. Otherwise, because this is a learning cases is happening, like 2 crore.
That problem is this, color, hair color is such a service. It will look very good on a paper and on a photo and everything, and a client wants to have the same color on her hair. Even after we consulting them, guiding them, telling them everything, suddenly after doing the hair color realize, oh, it doesn't look good on me. Now what do I do?
So,
Then I'm not going to pay you for it.
Renu, may I suggest, I think very much on the lighter side, I think the training we need to do for everybody in our respective companies is human psychology and not only hair coloring.
Very good, very good. Very good. And many times customers do not have money in the purse, so they make nonsense. Yeah. I said, if many times customer do not have money to pay, so they make any kind of claim, any kind of claim. So finally owner comes and say, okay, this is a free of cost, don't pay. At least मेरी जान तो छोड़ो.
You're giving him idea.
So I would love to have this discussion extend longer, but we are now, I think we are out of time. So if anybody has a last question, we can take. And yes.
Santosh without an I. Right now?
Yeah.
So, I have a question from the another side. Let's say we are discussing it all the way from the consumer side, that if the consumer files a case on a salon or a stylist or something, when his mental health or his appearance or something got hampered. Many a times what happens is while we do a consultation with the client, they say half truth. They don't disclose couple of things. Quite a time it happens. Now for an example, this came in my mind. Recently, few days back only, I was in a salon getting some service. There was one client. With that, the stylist did the complete consultation before doing this treatment, that what all you have done and all that. She said that no, I have not done any kind of coloring or something. Since koi color nahi kiya, kuch bhi nahi kiya, no past histories and all that. So when he started doing the treatment, all of a sudden it came that, that henna is coming out, previous color is coming out and all that. So what happened is during this straightening process, that hair got damaged. So now this is a complete fault of that client who didn't disclose it properly, because stylist ne questions पूछे थे that whether you have done anything, any past treatment or something. So case bigda. So what happens first, normally, I don't know how bigger salons are doing it, but usually in that case, first and foremost, the job of that stylist will go from that salon, because he has ruined one client. If a client made it a major issue, so in that case, the stylist can also go without job for some time, or his mental thing, as we said, that as a consumer, if my mental health is discussed, same way it can happen. So is there any kind of law which can be made for this stylist also, when a customer is not saying a proper truth or a complete truth, because it happens. They were like, acha, mujhe laga tha ki aapne this has happened, it's a real incident. I thought that you are just asking for a color which is done in the salon. So main to ghar pe hi lagaya tha wahi color. Okay. Into that, certain people can say that, you can do a patch test or something. He did a patch test or something. Generally, khud color karte, so they did it in the front only. And all these things happened. So is there any kind of a law to save the stylist part also? Because most of the time, as we all said, if I just want to take money,
I really doubt.
So we should have something for our stylist also.
Okay, this situation is, first of all, amazing question. Now here are the answers. The stylist who has lost his job, A, can sue you, not you, the salon owner, for wrongful termination without any cause. This person can also sue that individual for his, whatever wrong information he did which resulted in this. And he can seek compensation under common law, right? That you have lied, you have misinformed, and you have costed me my job. और मैं 2 महीने से मेरी job नहीं है, घर पे बूढ़ी माँ, blah blah blah. Again, I'm helping you. I'll make a big case. Yes, a case is plausible. And common law already exists. There will be no insurance for that employee who has lost a job. But yeah, all these allegations, if you're on the other side, insurance can provide for that as well.
But Anurag, another thing, as a skill expert, she's an expert. So under what laws she can file the case against the customer who has created a jobless for her, and again she got a mental harassment. So under which laws she can?
Under common law. See, for example, right now we are having a discussion, and you are asking too many questions, and I'm feeling uncomfortable, right? I will sue you for mental anguish, or probably defamation or anything and all that. Please understand, these are allegations. Now, when I say he can sue you, he or she can sue you for wrongful termination, please understand the onus to prove this lies on them. If they are able to prove, court will hold you responsible. You will end up paying compensation or fines and penalties or whatever. And if he is not able to prove, then nothing happens. But under common law, all your rights as an employer, as an employee, as a civilian, everything is protected. You don't need a separate law for every separate thing. What you're saying is pretty much same for me in my job as well. I go to my client, ask them about your salon, give them an insurance policy, claim doesn't get paid, he sues me and says that, you know, you're a liar, you're a cheater, you did not tell me everything, and then, you know, my boss says, you're fired, you know, you ruined one client like you mentioned, right? I assure you, I will sue my employer and tell him that, you know, you cannot sue me for no fault of mine, and I would get a lot of compensation for wrongful termination, really. At the same time, the client who has committed perjury, is it called, lying to me that I did not inform, and if I have proof that I did provide you all the information as it is, and it should have been, I will seek compensation from them for defamation, blah, 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 whatever. Yes, common law does protect you and all your rights as a common citizen.
Very important point what he is saying, that is signing the consultation form, which you should have as a proof with you.
Yeah, that's what important is.
All right, so thank you, Rekha, Anurag, Anish, and CKK for a fascinating discussion. Before going, I would like to ask the audience one question. How many of you have an insurance policy for your salon? You guys don't qualify here. Let me ask.
Very good.
You want to say something? Yes, Kapil wants to say something.
Yes.
So one thing which I want to share with each and everyone here, it seems that there is a lot of panic, and it is kind of conveying a lot of feeling of fear, which is justified because in business you need to be cautious than careless. Having said that, आपका काम है बिजनेस करना, तो बिजनेस करने पे ध्यान दीजिए, उसके करेज और जॉय उस पर ध्यान दीजिए. और अब अनीश, राहुल और अनुराग जो यहाँ पे हैं, I would like to ask you, what is the minimum which we should do and what is the maximum which we can think or expect to get covered? So I think इन दो बातों से you will be sorted, right? और वो डर की फीलिंग चली जाएगी. अदरवाइज आपका टीम मेंबर आपको सू कर रहा है, आपका प्रोडक्ट कंपनी आपसे हाथ अड़ा रही है, और आपका कस्टमर तो आपका किंग नहीं. सो आई थिंक
प्रोडक्ट कंपनी हाथ में लगा रही है.
और I would like to complete with my feelings also. So Rekha is a good friend of mine. She caused a lot of mental grief to me, which I'm not going to monetize, when she said that hairstylists and beauty therapists are labor in the salon. They are not, they are a team member, and they are your...
I said skill expert.
No, in between somebody mentioned कि जो labor है salon के अंदर.
So after this we are meeting. I got the insurance policy from him immediately.
This is Pranav from Tufel. What we have started doing is that we have started putting audio video cameras nowadays. Those are very cheap. They cost 2,500. So we have started putting it in all our salons. So then I don't think, a lot of times customers come back and say कि अरे हमने ऐसा बोला था, आपने ऐसा बोला. तो what we have started doing is कि now we have started sending them their recordings कि सर आपने ऐसा नहीं बोला था. So then they don't come back and say कि मैं ये करूँगा वो करूँगा. All of that has stopped.
Only thing is how...
Pranay, that's what I was just thinking, somewhere we should have that video recording consulting program.
Rekha, I think we have to put a stop now, and Pranay runs a business where only men come. So he has an easier job than all of us. So on this lighter side. So thank you so much for being party, and to answer your question, Kapil, let me give you the example of YLG. As a group policy, and for us it is, and I'm sure it can be easily possible for somebody like you, our policy covers damages up to 2.5 crores on the customer liability side, and on the professional liability also it's something similar. I think 2.5 or 5 crores. So it's your call how much you want to cover. You can say that, no, I want to cover 5 crores, I want to have a 10 crore cover. It's up to you. It's up to you completely. And managing that, understanding your customer, dealing with her one-on-one to try and make sure that it doesn't go into those kind of numbers. I think that is, for every one of us, is what our job should be. Rather than going to Supreme Court and all, because by the time you hit Supreme Court, 2 crores already down the tube. Right? Thank you. Thank you, Anish. Thank you, Anurag. Thank you, Rekha. And CKK.
We'll have one group.
Thank you so much everyone for being here, and thank you to Mr. Rahul Bhalchandra, CK Kumaravel, Dr. Rekha Chaudhari, Anish Ghoshal and Anurag Mishra for a lovely discussion. And I would like to call about Sandhya Chipalkatti to present a memento as a token of our gratitude to each one of you.